it. We should be live. So, hi all, welcome back to the Gameweek Navigators. I am Aditya, and as usual, I have Sankalp with me. Som is unable to join, but we'll discuss regarding his team plans a bit later. But Game Week 5 done and dusted. We don't want to talk a lot about Game Week 5. Everybody is fed up of looking at the past. So, we'll rather look at what's in front of us or what we might have coming up in the next few weeks or the next few weeks. The biggest, arguably the biggest talking point going on at the moment is wildcard. And even before the start of the season, game week 6 was notably one of the most spoken about time to wildcard because of the fixture swings in notice for a couple of big teams. And that's the reason we are going to dwell a lot on wildcard, particularly from game week 6 onwards, which teams to target over the next maybe let's say 6 to 7 weeks or maybe 5 to 6 weeks. We look at teams that have good fixture swings, players to target, and we look at our drafts and picks. So, with that being said, Sankar, do you want to add something or we'll jump straight up to the fixture ticker? What do you want to do?
Jump straight up to the fixture ticker.
Okay, let's not waste time. I'm just going to go to the ticker straight away and here we go. So, Sankar, walk us through this.
Yeah, if you look at the overall view over the next 6 7 weeks, right, and we have sorted here by fixtures for 7 weeks, right. So a good midterm view because that's what we take when we go for wildcard, right. It's no longer 1 or 2 or 3 weeks. You try to take as much time as you can with the wildcard, especially this year with the free transfers. You have a bit more patience. The first three teams are basically teams that are your filler teams, right? Everton, Brentford, Ipswich, and you'll see that a lot of I think entire FPL community is now discussing these three teams, primarily because the fixtures are good, and when you're going for a wild card, we all know that City, Arsenal, these are now top on the ticker or are top of everyone's choices, right? Everyone is trying to fill up their team with these kind of players, but to be able to do that, you need those Everton assets, need those Brentford assets and the Ipswich assets either on your first XI or on your bench, right? So that's where it's looking good. I'm a bit surprised to see United back on top, but I think it's primarily because after the first 2 3 weeks, the fixtures start turning again. And so, especially 11 and 12, I see that they are really good, but in the first 3 4 weeks, a bit tricky. So it's a bit deceptive there, right? But one good thing is when I was just looking at the top defenders by returns, etc. We have two United players already there, in the defense choices, right? We have Diogo Dalot, who's already third on the list with 29 points, and we have Mazroi, who's already, sixth on the list with 25 points, and joint top with Robo, right? So that tells you, especially for defense, I think there are good picks when fixtures are good. So we have to be a bit more selective to the fixtures when we are looking at defense. If you take out the likes of Trent, Gabriel, etc., who have now shown that they can pick up points in any week, right? And then comes City, right? City, I think, is going to be really, really strong in this next 7 8 6 to 7 weeks. Once Newcastle away is over, and even Newcastle have not looked really solid, to be honest. Right? So, and Haaland is looking like he'll score in every match from here on. Game week 38. So the one thing that we need to discuss perhaps is, what do we do? Do we double up on City attack? If yes, who's our second choice? Or do we double up on City defense? If yes, who are the main choices that we can go for? Right. And then obviously I'm good. It's good to see Liverpool is still there in the middle. That means we don't need to leave Liverpool completely. And then it's Arsenal, right? Then the other teams have ups and downs, but I think that's where the major focus will be, right? We'll take a look at the goal odds just for us to get a view as to what the odds say. And the credit here to 11ify.com, right? They give us a good view, and we have taken the next uh, 6 weeks here, right? They give us good view of the next 6 weeks, and here you can see City is right on top when it comes to the odds of scoring maximum goals, 14.67, and we know Haaland generally beats any kinds of odds even, right? So if this is 14 goals or 15 goals, I think City can score even more than that. Arsenal, while have not looked great from attacking point of view, they also have two red cards, right? So the stats a bit more skewed for them. But the next two matches we see huge gains. I think the biggest, right, 2.8 and 2.9 on from our point of view, and then the other ones are also not bad. It continues closer to 2, more or less, for all the remaining 6 weeks. Right? So Arsenal second on the taker and Liverpool third, Spurs fourth. And what this tells you is that when we are looking to wildcard, we have to try and balance it out, because I think most of us went with a single or double Liverpool attack. Over the last 5 6 weeks, people who did a wildcard four did that as well. Now they would want to at least drop one, but even if you don't drop two, I think it's okay, because the next 2 weeks, at least next 3 weeks, look pretty much favorable to say Liverpool from an attacking point of view, right? Um Good to see Bournemouth right there up, especially for MD6, because a lot of us are we are going to discuss picks, of course, but a lot of us are looking at Semenyo as a possible, fourth midfielder, fifth midfielder, third midfielder choice. And that means that at least for game week 6, it's possible that we get some immediate gratification. Right. Uh, Villa continue to do well, but one I think most surprising thing for me is Chelsea. Chelsea have looked really good in attack, and the odds are now looking good for them. They have tricky fixtures coming up. The fixtures are turning, but at least out of the next 4 matches, right, three are looking really, really good. Any other team that you are looking at from your own wildcard at point?
I mean, to just reveal out, I have not pressed the button of wildcard yet. Okay, it's not done
Okay.
yet. So,
Hmm.
no, I'm like still like, do I do it or not? I have like 2 3 players who I want to ship out,
Okay.
but we'll discuss that later. But in terms
Hmm.
of, I think if you see, Arsenal probably have good three fixtures, so I think that's the team people will all run towards. But other than that, if you see, you the again Man City and Arsenal are the only teams you'd go for, because you know they're reliable at the end of the day. And the other teams, whoever you pick from, are just basically to just what do you say, just filling the remaining spots with the best players from that team, right? I mean, if you spoke about Semenyo from Bournemouth, right? If you see the other teams from Liverpool, obviously Salah is the ideal option, but obviously nobody has enough funds to accommodate him, so you go for who's in form, so that's Diaz. From Spurs, again, Solanke scored a goal, but Spurs, not that convincing yet. With
Hmm.
United, again, I don't know who's going to score. From Chelsea, if you see, I think Palmer is probably the best pick. Jackson
Nico.
looks good in form. He looks good, but I don't want to get
Hmm.
burnt by Jackson, but he looks good. From Villa, again, I feel it's Rogers and Watkins. One of the two should suffice. And Brentford is obviously Bumo. And below whatever you see that list, I'm not even going to look at other than enablers like maybe McNeil, Semenyo, Smith Rowe, and the Dibling and all the other players like that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's it. I just covered up the teams and players you want.
Exactly. And I think
Yes.
that was the entire logic of wildcarding in Game Week 6, that you are able to concentrate on a strong core of big teams. If we do wildcard 6, and then you find out those, by now we know, even if Brentford has eighth on the list, we know Mbumo is going to get involved. More or less, he's the guy, so he can be your core Sun Million guy, right? Similarly, if you guys want to go Brighton, where do I go? Who's the person to pick? Similarly, for Bournemouth, we know, okay, Semenyo is looking better. So all those, offbeat choices, we have a bit more clarity about who to go in each of these teams, right?
Yes. Now I mean, obviously we're speaking a lot about the attack, but obviously
Mm.
defense this year is kind of looking a bit different, right?
Tricky.
I mean, Trent is again starting to return points. Not necessarily Trent. Liverpool defensively are looking good, so there are other
Okay.
options from Liverpool as well. But you need to sacrifice your offensive outputs to them. You might get the occasional ones. But again, in terms of defense, I think City so far have been not that good defensively, and obviously Rodri is now also out. That's a big blow for them. But other than that, again, you have teams that have fixture strings but have played poor defensively, like Everton and Brentford have also not looking that good. I mean, defensively, but you just got to put players from them solely based on the fixtures, right? I mean, other than Arsenal and Liverpool, nobody has looked good that well. I mean, United, if you want to add defensive
Yeah,
wise, right? That
yeah,
convinced
yeah.
me.
Yeah, I agree. I think the top three is more or less, fixed. I think City and Arsenal do look always good because they have the ball a lot. But I think Liverpool have done that as well this season. They look like a good defensive, solid core team. It's not like Klopp's last 2 years when they're pretty shaky in the back. Brentford, they were missing out on a lot of players, and I think still some players like Rico Henry, etc., are yet to come back. And Pinnock also, I don't think we have heard, when he's coming back. Right, so they are facing a lot of injury news, but the fixtures, at least for the first 4 weeks, again we can see 3 weeks, it's looking good. And with Brentford, I think people are more looking at their goalkeeper rather than anything else. Right, with Flecken, you know that hey, he makes those saves. So even if there's a bad fixture coming in the way, maybe he will, have enough shots saved to help you out. Right, but one good thing is we now see Everton and Nottingham Forest up top. I think Nottingham Forest have looked really solid, really good at the back. I
Just one
wanted to
correction I
see.
would like to make, Shankar.
Yes,
Pinnock
yes.
is not injured, so I don't know who you've confused
Oh,
with. Ethan Pinnock is perfectly fine.
oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I think I'm confusing him with someone else. Right. Uh, one thing I'm very surprised is Nottingham Forest and uh, their defensive form. It feels like Nuno's team has settled down. This is like old man Wolves team of Nuno, right? Where they sit back, they try to keep it tight, intact, and try to hit on counters. Right? So last season it didn't feel like it was working, but this season it feels like they have found their way. And defensively, if you look at the odds, apart from MD7, they are playing. I mean, they are looking really good from a odds point of view. Who do they play in MD7? Just take a look.
I'll just go back to the ticker if that
Chelsea away.
helps.
Chelsea away. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it does make sense, right? So Chelsea away, I think is not that great from a clean sheet point of view. But they have Fulham at home, Chelsea at home, couple of home fixtures, and even the other odds, if you look at it, right? Really good as such. So currently, I think most of the people are, if you're at a 4.5 million defend goalkeeper choice, you are most probably, debating between Brentford and Forest. Some might still be looking at Everton goalkeeper, but he's more expensive, and Everton have just not shown the defensive form. Right, it might make sense for you to go to that cheap defender like Mike Michael, who has been disappointing to be honest. But overall, from a goalkeeping point of view, I think it's primarily choosing one of these two guys and deciding where to go. Right. United have looked well, but I think the fixtures, at least like we were discussing, in the immediate basis, next 2 to 3 weeks, 4 weeks, slightly shaky, and then it will start turning. Right. So if you went United defense early in the season, and we did discuss United a bit in one of our earlier fixtures, earlier episodes. So if you went there, great. I'm sure you would have got some good returns. But if you have not gone there and now you're sitting on a wild card, I think it's a bit late. We need to time that move back to United, right? So, base,
I don't agree with that because
hmm,
still I think Spurs and Villa, right? They're all tough
yeah,
games on paper, right? Obviously,
hmm,
you will have to defend well to win such games. So
correct.
it's not a bad option to go for someone like Martinez, who's at 4.5. You don't want to pay 4.6 to Masroy. So it's still not bad. I mean, you can maybe keep them as a fourth defender or something, and then post 2 weeks onwards. Once the swing happens, you don't need to waste a transfer to get it, get them in. That's up to you how you
And you
structure
do
it.
have Brentford at home, and Brentford have not looked really great in attack, right? It's not because they are missing Visa, they are not settled in attack. So yeah, I think it, and then it's West Ham away again. West Ham not known for scoring a lot of goals either. So perhaps yeah, I think it makes sense. I have 28%, 21% odds for those matches. So basically, see out the next 2 weeks, and then you are. It feels like you have a good defensive team, so why not? I think that makes sense. Villa
I think we.
dropping deep, and but if you look at Villa fixtures, they're just still conceding all the way. But the odds are very good for the first 4 weeks. It's just that after that they're like terrible, 12% and 8%, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was funny last week. I mean, to be honest, if when we're talking about Villa, I'll just get in. Game week 5 was absolutely comical from Villa. Absolutely bizarre from Rogers, and people were cursing him, and I'm just going to get him out, and there you go.
I'd
Victory
already clicked
was,
on the wild card and I'd already sold him to be honest.
but
But I
he
was
proved
very
the
happy
point.
to see
Yes.
this. Yeah, I was very happy
Yeah,
to
but
see those points.
I had a very, I mean, we'll just talk on this and then we'll go back to the
Yeah,
picks since
yeah,
we've covered on defense. Game week 5 was very disastrous until Rogers' two assists and Konza's goal came in. It just saved my game week 5. Otherwise, it
amazing,
was downhill.
amazing.
So at least that worked out. And now you want to
For
add
me, it
something
was
here
the
or we
Palace
go
double
to,
defense. I was praying, boss, please let me have this one. Boss, please let me have this one. The Henderson and Munoz duo saved me for, last week. But I immediately sold Palace. I think it was more down to United not scoring than Palace, and I think Henderson did well, but it just feels like Palace is a team which is in transition, right? You feel they will take some time to come back to where they ended last season, and it's okay to go out and come back later once they do that, right?
all right, since this is done, let's, I think, go on to wildcard. I mean, picks, if we had to create a team right now,
Yes,
it
yes,
depends on team value. That's the most important thing. So I
correct.
lost a lot of team value. Uh, I had a lot of players. I mean, I lost on Mikolenko. I lost, I think, point two. I lost on Kwanzaa, point two. I lost point one on Armstrong, point two on Fernandez. So a lot of team value I had to lose, and I actually built a team only for 99.5 million at the start of the season. And if I throw everyone out, I have I think 99.1. Not think so. Not sure. I lost a lot of value, so it's a little bit tricky for me to build a team. But let's consider the fact maybe everybody has lost around zero point 0.5, and maybe let's build this team. And goalkeepers, right? I mean, pretty self-explanatory. We did speak a bit on teams that have good odds of keeping clean
Yeah.
sheets and maybe getting returns. And Raya obviously is currently, if you want to spend 5.6, it's best option that I think Flecken is
Yeah,
purely
but
for.
is he? Right, I know, and a lot of
See,
people have
I think
suggested.
best is. I mean, one more important thing is that since I went to Flecken, let's just dive a little bit back and talk
Sure.
about Raya and Arsenal defense. Like, what is the optimal move, maybe, in terms of structuring your team with Arsenal players? Double defense, single attack, or single defense, double attack? Like, what do you feel over the next 3 weeks? What's the best?
See, I think without doubt, the more popular option among FPL community will be double defense and single attack, because that's how Arsenal performance has been. Right, we have dominated but not scored a lot of goals. Last two matches, obviously, we didn't score much. I think it was like 1-0. Last match we scored two, one by Gabriel, but not a lot of goals from Arsenal. And we have looked really, really good in defense. Right, we saw out Villa with a clean sheet. We saw out Spurs with a clean sheet. Brighton, I think, would have been a clean if not for that red card. Right, so more or less the team looks really, really good defensively, and Raya has done superb. I think Villa, he was the guy who won us the match. Spurs also he played really well, and City he was, I think, he was one of the ones that we had put in, right? But my point is, especially when it comes to Raya, right? Because when people talk about double defense, I think most of the people are talking from a Raya plus Gabriel slash Saliba. I think now everyone is Gabriel, so Raya plus Gabriel plus a Saka or a Kai. That's how the 2+1 theory is coming around. I think the issue here is the tougher fixtures obviously helped Raya, and also I think Arsenal defensively also took some time to get in shape, primarily because Timber still coming back from fitness. First match, I think Zinchenko started. Second match onwards, Timber came in, and he also took some time to settle in. I think the Spurs second half is when I could see, okay, this is the Timber that we wanted to see, and after that he's looked good, right? So the defense on its own took some time to settle down. We had tougher fixtures, Villa away, Spurs away. These are good attacking teams, which means we conceded more shots on target than we generally do, right? And now when the fixtures have finally swung back, where we are expected to hold, say, 60% plus, around 60% of the ball. I don't see a similar stat getting replicated. I don't see Raya, being on a bonus ticker because of higher BPS, because I don't think he'll make that. He'll be needed to make that amount of saves, right? It's just that where is your ceiling? And when we do wildcard, I remember every season when we do wildcard picks, right? You have to keep reminding people who are going for it that when you do wildcard is your high ceiling move, right? Wildcard is your ability to attack, what is ahead of you the next 4 5 weeks, and try to gain the maximum out of it. I think the maximum we can get out of Arsenal currently is attack because of the fixtures that we have. Simple as that. That's why everyone is going for Arsenal, right? You are like, hey, the fixtures look good. It looks easier. Odds are there in our favor. From even if we have not done a lot of goals, we see that we are second in odds from an attacking point of view. And I know from a defensive point of view, it's true as well. But where is the ceiling? I think the ceiling is there in attack. And what is helping the case for Arsenal attack, I think, is the fact that last season there was a lot of variability, right? You never knew who will score, who will assist, etc., etc. This season, it is becoming a lot more easier for us to predict. It seems primarily it will be one of the Arsenal, attackers, Kai and Saka. So it's Saka assisting Kai, Kai assisting Saka. One of these guys, because left wing is still not settled. Martinelli is nowhere closer to scoring so far. Trossard mostly will come up to Odegaard. So he was the guy who's somehow, sometimes stealing those goals and scoring it. He's now going to play deeper as well. He's taking the Odegaard slot. So who's going to score? Ideally, it will be one of those two guys, right? And if you are taking both, I think more or less you are expected to take 60% of the Arsenal goals that they're going to score, and the remaining 40% is Gabriel, which you can always pick. So that is my theory currently, right? And that's where I'm going from a wildcard point of view. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I would not. I mean, it's up to every manager has their own
Mm.
thinking and strategy. I mean, obviously, at the start of the season, I was when we made the first drafts and all. Initially, I was talking a bit on Raya is like cheaper than the outfield Arsenal defender.
Yeah,
So, in terms of the games, you just expect a clean sheet. You'll be happy to take the points. But the only downfall is Raya is not going to come up and score goals. That's the only problem. So if you just wanted defensive points, you can go with Raya. But as you said, right? I mean, probably he's done his best over the last few weeks, and going for outfield defender and the double attack makes sense. I think yeah, even I'm pretty much on the same board. But there is one more question. We've got Praneeth back, and he's saying Raya saves a point five. I think if you compare with Gabriel, but with Saliba it's point four. It is a long-term move till next wildcard, isn't it? In
I
terms of surety,
I think if you're going
depends on
Raya, you're going till the end of the season. That is, without doubt, because there's no reason then to come out, right? We have now even gone City, and till we considered the second goal, he was actually there on the bonus points. He had one BPS, right? So, but if you're going there, you're taking a really, really long-term view. It is perhaps true. The only question is, can you cover some of it via one of these 4.5 million guys, goalkeepers? Then you can chase those upside moves.
great. I think I would pick one of Flecken or Sels. You can go pick anyone, and then accordingly you pick the other defender. If you go with Flecken, you go with maybe Milenkovic or Murillo or any other maybe Aina. I don't know if Alex Moreno is nailed. Then if you go with the Cells, then you go with maybe Pinnock or Collins, one of them. And I think that's the I would pick one of the 4.5 guys. Again, it depends on how much team value you have and how you want to play the game. Up to that. I think we're done with goalkeepers, right? We'll reveal your draft later, but I think you've picked one. I think you've picked one of the 4.5 guys, right? We'll not reveal
Yeah.
it outright.
Yes.
That's enough. And now, next, in terms of premium defenders, obviously Trent and we'll consider Trent Robertson and Guardiola. Let's consider them as the premium guys. the high premiums, 6 million plus, and Trent is looking sort of like again back to the point where he's like a must own, right? Or if not, maybe at least a cover from Liverpool defense, right? I was selfishly praying last week for a clean sheet wipeout for Liverpool. Unfortunately, that didn't work. It didn't work in our favor, and probably it's time to get in defenders from Liverpool. And who do you think? I mean, I think obviously no brainer is Trent, right? Based on the price, but between Robertson and Konate, if you don't have enough for Trent, right? Do you go there if you don't have that much money for Trent, or you invest it somewhere else?
Uh, so I think Konate, Robertson, they're good choices. Trent has not exploded so far, but last match I think it felt like closest to the prime Trent kind of prime FPL Trent kind of category, right? The thing is with the fixtures, while they still remain high on odds from a defensive point of view, if you take out cleans from Liverpool, the only defender that will give you points is Trent because he'll continue to be in and around that attack creating chances after chances. He's still very pretty high on XA, and I think he's highest on XA currently, right? So that is that is a good thing about Trent always, right? But the good thing for us is Liverpool still seem to look really good in defense, right? And the clean sheet is a factor now. I think like we are taking clean sheet as a factor for City or Arsenal, any match that we are looking at. So if clean sheet remains a factor, I think there is a possibility that you cover some of it via Robertson, via Konate, etc. For example, if last week was not a factor, more or less the other defenders were close to Trent. It's only I think Robertson was even ahead of Trent. It's only because of last week's ultra premium, 11 point or something. He's now gone past all of these choices. That so, I think there is a case to be made for a Robertson, for a Konate. Why? Because Liverpool are now looking good in defense. But it also means that the ceiling of Trent will always remain higher. Because if he has clean sheet within him, it's just a matter of which week he gets his assist because he will get those every 2 or 3 weeks. And the week that he gets it, it will be a 11 pointer, a 12 pointer. So that is what will hurt you.
Yeah, I mean, agreed. But even if you don't have enough funds to get in Trent, I think Robertson is the next best option.
Yeah.
If again, if not, you don't have enough money, Konate is still not bad, but it is just for you to cover the Liverpool defense in terms of not by making sure you don't lose their defensive points when others get just the bare get away with the bare minimum there. And the next two plays on the list are Gabriel and Silva. We're not going to talk more. And I think Gabriel is so far, we know based on last season how potent he is, and he was last season from set pieces, and Arsenal this season look pretty much the same. And I just I kind of laughed because I saw I mean the game against City, right? It was the I think at the first corner, the first attempt, Doku lost him
Yeah.
and he nearly missed. The second one was where Walker was doing tapping, and he still missed him and the ball went. And I was like, what are these people doing? And this guy still scores again. Same copy paste way score. Same way
Yeah.
score. Looks like they have mastered that move. And because of that, I think Saka consecutively has got at least
Assist. One
he's
assist.
returned, yeah, at least something, a goal or an assist. I think consecutively he's done it for the 5 weeks,
Every
and
match he has
last two
assist
times,
now for the last
every
five
match he has.
weeks. Yeah, so another
Yeah.
two, I think, is a record for Arsenal from a purely Arsenal record point of view. I think Ozil had 7 consecutive matches of assists or something. So I don't know whether he reaches there, but it tells you that he is a boy on form for sure. And he's helped by the fact that on set pieces we look really good. And to be honest, Saka put in really good balls as well. Both the set pieces, one Gabriel missed and one he scored, were pinpoint exactly. That corridor of uncertainty that we say in cricket, exactly that place, and at the back post, the goalkeeper gets blocked off. We have a lot of blockers, and someone can put it in at any point of time.
So I have Saliba. I had Saliba
Hmm.
since game week one,
Same.
and not going to say hindsight bad pick. I mean, we got points. It's just the last 2 weeks I didn't go, but that's okay. Uh, I mean, if you don't have any Arsenal defender and going for one, I think Gabriel is the best. If you, I think is the best, right? Do you do the sideway move or it's okay? Saliba is still okay. What do you feel? It's just his time will also come at some point.
Yeah, if you're not on wildcard, I don't think you should make this transfer, right? I don't expect Gabriel to score, third match on a trot, right? It's just unlucky. And if he does on third match, it won't be fourth match for sure. And so uh, he's not a Haaland, right? So I think on a long term, you just need an Arsenal defender for sure. And if you have missed out on Gabriel points, you have missed on those points. On a wildcard, I think it makes sense, but I won't use a free transfer to make this move. That's not a high ceiling choice. More or less, you'll be 3 or 4 points away, 6 weeks down the line between these two players.
I said we'll not talk about Gabriel and Saliba. I think we spent
Yeah.
some time. Now we'll go on to a bit of match series difference. Obviously, in terms
Yes.
of clean sheet odds that we saw a little while earlier, and City were right on top. They had a couple of games where it was close to even 50%. I think. Like we can just go and get that slide if I'm not blubbering anything. Yeah, match that's game week 7 and game week 9. I mean 7, 8, 9. We see close to more than even 40% odds, and that's the thing, right? I mean, I think it's Akanji is the only defender who has played 5 weeks in a row for City. Has started 5 game weeks,
Guardiola
and
has it.
got it. I don't think he was benched for one game, right?
I
Yeah,
missed.
against Brentford, he played 45.
Correct, 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 correct. Amazing.
Yeah, so I mean,
So
no
the
Rodri
funny,
as well. I mean,
yeah, funny bit about Chelsea, about City is the only match where they have a clean sheet is the one against Chelsea where they didn't have Rodri as well, right? So it is possible now, without Rodri, with Kovacic coming in, they go a bit defensive, right? They cover the bases. There's still a lot of theories about how they will, shape up. Stones coming back to fitness is a good boost for them, right? And that can affect someone like Rico Lewis a bit. But there's a theory that City are will become a bit more pragmatic now because they don't have Rodri to fall back on, right? I think Guardiola has shown over the last couple of seasons he's trying to become more and more pragmatic. Somehow it is not reflected in the clean sheets, but they don't concede a lot of goals as well, right? So with the way fixtures are, I know they have not taken those cleans, but I think the way fixtures are, it just makes sense for you to have someone from City. I'm sure there is some sort of reaction coming to the Arsenal match as well. Right? It's just that do you want to go put that 6 million on a Robertson or do you want to go on a Guardiola? I will not go Akanji because either you go Guardiola and have that ultra surety and some matches he is going to attack as well, or you go cheap with someone like Rico Lewis and go punty, right?
yeah, I mean, Akanji is like it's in that gray area, right? I don't know, like what to say. He's someone who we will say that we're not sure, and he's someone who will end up playing most of the games. that's the that's the
Well, and
thing
he's
with
played
Pep.
90 minutes all the matches, right? So I think the only problem with Akanji is the 5.5 million guy, right? So it's just that why not go Rico Lewis a bit cheaper? That is the only thought in your mind because Rico Lewis has that extra potential of attacking the box, getting close to it, creating some, he may score, he may assist, right? That kind of factor he has, right? That is the only thing. But we know Akanji will play for sure. A lot of people. I think he's a perfect draft pick.
Yeah, that's it. The problem is with Pep, we don't know who's going to play when. So nobody knows. You might say this, and both of these defenders might be end up being benched the next game. That would be the most Pep thing to happen, but I don't expect that. Last I have on this premium is Pedro Poro. I mean, 32% ownership, price 5.6. Although they play United, but post that the fixtures are Brighton, West Ham, Palace, Villa, and Ipswich. That's up till game week 11. And Spurs defensively are bad. But again, from Poro, you are more or less expecting offensive returns. And what do you think? I mean, I'm not that convinced, but it's just like, I'm not seeing Poro in a lot of drafts, but it's just like, what do you think? Is he someone worth looking at it, or maybe wait for maybe 2 3 weeks and then see? I mean, we all
Uh,
probably will have
yeah.
funds splitted with Arsenal defense and the other guys don't think we'll
Yeah.
have any much
Yeah,
support.
I don't want to go because he's a 5.5 million guy, right? And again, if you're talking 5.56 million, we are mostly talking about Arsenal, Liverpool, because I think with defenders having that clean sheet potential is a very big, thing. If you really are looking for attacking points from a defender, I think their ability to give you assist is good, right? But if I go to a player, assuming that he'll score goals from open play, uh, a defender, right? It's very rare, and it's not like Poro scored a lot of goals either. Right? He scored in the first week, and I think after that he's not scored in any of the matches. They have conceded almost regularly. The only reason he's high is I think they played a very poor quality Everton team, where they've again got another clean sheet, which I don't think they would have. And apart from that, that's it. So that's my issue with going with someone like Poro. I would rather put that point 0.5 million extra and go 0.6 million extra and go Gabriel, who I think might give you a clean sheet and give you some sort of goal scoring potential.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the structure that we see in defense is either Trent or Robertson, and then it's either one of let's call it Gabriel himself the second slot. So
Mm.
you're done. You're just going to put maybe 4.5, 4.5, and 4 or 4.5 something. So everybody's the happy and done.
Yeah.
So fortunately, the others don't have the slots there. And budget, right? Budget is basically 4.5, 4.6 is what I have considered here. Still, I've put Konza because, as we said, right, the fixtures are not that bad for Villa. Villa defensively are like not that they've not turned up the same way that we expected them to be. But Konza did score a goal last week out of
Yeah.
nowhere. He came in and he got the goal. And still, I mean, you look to attack other teams that might have good fixture swings, and obviously the Brentford guys or Forest to some extent for a few weeks, or Everton players, I think, are the ones you look at that particular slot and maybe even leave Davis from Ipswich, right? Any place from here? I mean, I think pretty much that's done. I think I put Colville and the United defenders at the last.
Yeah,
That's really
and
very easy.
if you're looking for someone long term as a fourth mid defender to have on the bench sometimes, right? I think Colville is a good choice. Chelsea are looking at the top five, top six team again for sure. They'll have their moments, especially when the fixtures turn, right? So Mazure, Martinez, Colville, these are good long term picks to have. Collins or Pinnock, like we were talking at the start of the podcast, right? Everton, Brentford, and your Ipswich guys are the bench guys, but these are the guys who are your glue picks or your fillers. And with good fixtures, I think these are sensible picks. Now, someone you want to add, experiment, or rotate around and see what you can get.
I think a lot of managers are banking lot on Dyche revolution again
Yes,
because Everton's there is a good swing of fixtures. I mean, Everton have decent run of games coming up, and probably that will kind of push them towards at least going back to the way Dyche generally plays. That's somehow one long ball and a header goal and scraping with a clean sheet. So probably we all need that. And I think Mikalenko at 4.3 is like at 4.3 now. It's like such a good price, right? But I got it for 4.5 and I feel slapped
same
twice.
here.
With
Same here. So now I have gone on a wild card. I don't feel like I should go back and get him back again. It doesn't make sense now that we have sold him. And I feel like while eventually I think that Sondice factor will come into play, I think it just makes sense to wait it out and see when it comes. Right? They have just not settled as a defensive unit, and I would rather want to see that and go there than jump onto it. I know 4.3 million for Michaelenko looks good, and perhaps that price is the reason he's a bit more popular on the wildcard
exactly.
choice, right? Else, purely from a pick point of view, I would rather go Brentford because they
I
have
think if he
shown me that
was
they're good.
if he was 4.5, I don't think people would have
No,
considered him with the fact. Although it would have been like a good pick to consider because of fixtures, but I mean, form wise, Everton have been poor defensively, but 4.3 just enticing, right? Makes it more appealing. Anyways,
definitely.
United defenders are not bad. In Colville, we did discuss Forest, we did speak. Brentford is the Bench, right? I think the most safest would be Graves and Fourth face. If you want Graves, at least they have good run of games, which and from set plays, he has looked good. So Graves is probably the flavor of the season for this wild card in terms of the price bracket. Harvard Palace, I think Jack Stephens got sent off or something, so he played and not sure. So I think it's not ideal to get him in. Keane, I'm not sure. I think he's
What do
still
you think
new.
about your own, ex United boy, Tuan Jebe?
Yeah, I mean, Greaves or Tuanzebe are fine. I mean, you're paying four, right? They're just going to come and help you for some random game because of some
Yeah,
situation. You're not going to
yeah.
over there. You just need someone there who plays 90. That's the
And
thing.
I feel like Ipswich are looking good as well. As a team, they are looking way more structured. So currently, you just about the fixtures, right? So if you look at the fixtures today, they have Villa at home, which is tricky. Obviously, I don't expect them to have a clean. Then it's West Ham away. Ideally, they should, they will have some chance. Depends on West Ham if they start turning up. As of now, they are not. Then they have Everton at home, which can be a clean, which can be a 0-0. Both the teams getting a clean and going home. Right. Then it's Brentford away, slightly tricky. It's Leicester home. Right. So there's not a lot of clean pictures, fixtures as of now. But they did go away to Brighton and take a clean. I think they're looking really good as a team as such. And long term, I'm more comfortable taking a 4 million defender from that team because I know there are some fixtures where they might give you something.
Yes, I mean, that's one thing. And regarding Michael Keane, I think Gerard Brantford is back, maybe with the fitness test. So if he plays, I think that's the end of Michael Keane's chances. I'm not sure of. I think maybe Everton fans will probably give better answer. I've just put in Keane. Not sure. Don't think. And last is Sepp Vandenberg. Is someone who I had fancied. Maybe last week I was looking at it, but the problem here is I think Brentford played a back five the last two games, and we're not sure if they go back to a back four whether he stays or not. That's the only concern with Vandenberg. Other than
Yeah.
that, so I think pretty much there's only one. It's either Graves or, as you said, Tuanzi Bain. Nobody else there. Okay, I think any
No more
other names
difference.
that's not there in the list? Nothing. We're done. All right, we'll go to midfield, and probably midfield will have a very important name right up first. That's none other than Mo Salah. Mo or no is the thing. And last 2 weeks, it turned out to be no Salah, but there is like slight fear, right? Going without Salah. Do you have that, or you're like, hopefully, maybe some of the other guys who are getting will cover it up? There's a little bit of fear, right?
It's Wolves, right? Wolves have looked so leaky. Especially that Chelsea match always makes you think, right? Because it was Chelsea away to Wolves, which had that 5 goals, 5-2 kind of a thriller. And you think maybe it happens again. But the thing is, Diaz has looked so much in form. He's actually looked so attacking, so vital to Liverpool attack. I'm now thinking you just have to cover it in some way, right? And it's not a lot of good fixtures now. Their primary good fixtures from an attacking point of view is starting to dwindle down, and it just makes sense for us to move out and give way to the likes of Saka, Palmer, right? It's Wolves away, Palace away, two away games. Then it's Chelsea home, which can be a decent match because Chelsea have not looked great defensively. Then it's Arsenal away again. So 4 matches, I'm not really very confident. And it's Brighton at home, Villa at home, not great fixtures from my attacking point of view. Right? So I'm happy to cover it a bit because Liverpool are looking good, but I just don't think having a double premium attacker makes sense because we know we are going to captain Haaland. That captaincy bit is settled now. Even in the worst of fixtures, he outscored Salah twice. So that's it. You just have to continue with one million, that 15 million monster, and keep captaining him and use the money more wisely.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to have a well-balanced team with Saka and Palmer and all, Salah, you can't have him. So it's pretty much that's it. If you go with someone like Mo Salah, the other side of the team is pretty much going to be on bare bones. So that's the truth. I don't want to talk more on Salah. If you love Salah, you feel Salah will return, then probably I think if you are You shouldn't wildcard if you have Salah and Haaland. That's the thing.
See, it's the law of averages where, and what we have seen in FPL is the week you wildcard, you generally do worse with your new wildcard team, right? And that means ideally Salah is expected to do really well. So if you're not on a wildcard, you have Salah, maybe you continue for this 1 week. But if you're wildcard, you'll take a long-term view, and long-term view
But on
just
the
means, yeah,
other way is to say that without Salah is the only way you're probably able to get Palmer or Saka, and if they
and
go well, you kind of even it out, right? That's you
over
just need
long
to
term,
pick and
without doubt.
choose.
Over long term, without doubt, I think Palmer, Saka, they are credible options. We don't know what happens. We didn't expect Salah to kind of blank last 2 weeks, but at least these two matches, it feels like they're credible options, and we need to take that risk.
Okay, Palmer. If you have that much of funds, I think he's a good pick. But the only problem is, don't think there is a way to fit both Palmer and Saka, right? So if you go with
It's
someone
very
like,
difficult.
I think the option what we will see is single Arsenal defense along with Saka and Havertz is one. Double Arsenal defense with Havertz and Palmer is the other way people will look at, right?
Yeah.
That's the only way to structure it.
Yeah, definitely. The only challenge with Chelsea is currently, their fixtures are turning after 2 weeks from an attacking point of view, right? And that's the only thing that will make you think, should I go a 10.5 million? Because another way is, going a double defense Arsenal, going Saka, and going instead of Kai going, Nico Jackson up. That's also an option, right? It's just that you put 7.7 million on the Chelsea guy because they have Brighton at home, Forest at home, and then it's Liverpool away, Newcastle home, United away, Arsenal home. Not good from
But still,
it can be tricky.
the thing to be honest is Palmer is Palmer and Jackson is Jackson, right? That
It
is the
was
harsh
last
truth.
season, but I'm a bit more skeptical because if you look at how Mariska is playing, right? Earlier, how Pochettino used to set up his team, it was just put Palmer in the best position possible, right? And he used to score. And I still think if you today also, if Palmer is put in the best possible situation, there's a greater chance that he scores because he's a better finisher than Nico Jackson for sure. There's no doubt in my mind about that. It's just that I feel the Mariska system is such that it puts Nico Jackson in the position to score more often than it puts Palmer. Right? That's the only thing. And with these fixtures, maybe you bet on that. But Palmer is Palmer.
West Ham were so bad. I was so frustrated watching the game, and they just the first goal. I don't know what happened. Somehow he went. The second goal, the finish was excellent. To be honest, you need to give him that credit. It was the Trivella or outside of the boot. Nice finish. But West Ham was just daydreaming. I don't know what went wrong, and they're looking awful.
West Ham press has
So,
been so poor. If I'm looking at West Ham United, right, and who do West Ham United face in the coming weeks? If we just take a look at
Brentford.
assume assume we go down that route, right? Okay, so they face Brentford, so you want to have Mbumo. Then they face Ipswich. Okay, maybe we cannot have anyone, but then they go Tottenham, so you have Solanke. Then they go United, so maybe Bruno or Holland is the pick because their press is so poor, and the problem is they have so much gap in the middle. And I was looking at a picture in Twitter where they had the front four, they had the back four, and there was a gap where the Chelsea midfielders kind of standing and waiting for the ball to come to them, and then
The
they're just
ball,
catching
they could never play through the middle. They were just going side, back, side, and what? I
it.
don't know what was going on.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what West Ham does because generally the coach is known to set up good defensive teams, but last match was a disaster.
Yes. Did they play any game in midweek, Vasa? I think they played, right?
They played against Liverpool, so I'll give them that. They lost 5-1. And the only goal they scored was via Kwanzaa own goal.
So that's gone. So it's
Yeah.
Jota, Brace, Salah, and Gakpo. And Diego Jota is again haunting all the managers who had him. But that's very funny. Anyways, we completely just went off course there. And
Hmm.
I think Saka, not going to speak a lot. I think Arsenal's main talisman, everything is going to go through him to the right, his own set pieces, and whatever Arsenal do in terms of attack, Saka is going to be involved somehow. That's it. I think I've spoken. That's done. Him, Min Son or Son Heung Min. Uh, right. I mean, again, not going to go towards him, but it's more like differential. I don't know what's he
I
going to say.
just want to add one
8%.
thing, because we're looking at that fixture. Diego Jota started last match and he played just 59 minutes. He was pulled off. Darwin Nunes ended up playing the entire match. It's possible that in the next match, Jota starts again.
Man, that's how this game is funny, right? Who
Yeah.
knows?
You will all go on dice and then you see Jota playing as number 9 and scoring a brace against Wolves.
His former team as well. Anyways, we were on Son Heung Min,
Yeah.
and
You want to go
differential.
to Sun Heung-min?
Nobody
He's
will go.
I don't know.
He looked kind of
Especially
off pace. Last game I watched Spurs play.
uh,
Uh, Solanke got the goal on his plate, but he looked off pace on. I felt there were at times he should have finished, but he went for the pass. I don't know why. Looked a
okay,
bit
then
weird for him to do that.
yeah, that's what I was thinking that the years of Son Heung-min was a great elite finisher. I feel it's becoming less and less popular. Where you can see that he is now being asked to set up Solanke more, right? Solanke, Brennan Johnson, etc. He's now looking to act as a captain guy, perhaps, but he's looking to set up others. And with Solanke coming in, it seems very clear that they want to set up Solanke more and more. It just takes out Sun as an option. When you have Saka and Palmer, we're going to do the reverse. When they have an option, they're going to perhaps go for more.
Okay, I mean everybody's going to have funds tied up with Saka or Palmer, so no room there. Let's go on to. I mean, we can't. Fernandez has mid price because he dropped and considering till 8.5, but I think Luis Diaz is done. Let's not even talk. The remaining other players are all players who are below 8.5. I think there's 6.9 to 8.5, and we have Eberici Eze. Uh, Bumo is like locked.
Yeah,
Everybody's just going to have him,
yeah,
and whatever Brentford do, is just going to go through him, and
yeah.
with no visa as well.
Talisman.
Yeah, talisman, and if Bruno and Madison as the other options as probably a fourth midfielder.
And
Bruno,
Madison, sorry, we will
also
start
you
with
want
Bruno.
Bruno?
Yeah,
You want to go with Bruno? Okay.
yeah, yeah, please.
I sh- so I post the game against Palace. What I did was I was either wildcard or you need to make one move. So I went
Yeah.
post the game. I just did Bruno out to Bumo and I went to sleep. I just pulled the trigger and because I couldn't afford another price drop or a price rise, so I had to do that. And I see few people considering to get in Bruno as fourth midfielder in wildcards. I've seen a couple of people discussing, and I am not going to probably encourage that on high. I mean, I got burned for 5 weeks, just one return. Although maybe the first two game weeks he should have done more,
Yeah.
but United in terms of attack, I feel they look lost. I don't know who's going to score and from where the goals are going to come. It's not even looking good. I mean, it was Ericsson who scored against 20. Palace, we failed to score. I don't know who's going to score.
But
And
I felt you guys played well against Palace. I mean, I'll be a bit more empathetic because I
we'll be
know.
empathetic, but at the end of the day,
Yeah,
the ball has to go in the back of the net. And it is like,
yeah, for
as
sure.
I think Andre Onana gave a very good thing. I think he gave a nice quote post the game. I don't exactly remember. He said, something he said, God is against us, or the golden was something he said along that line, and I was laughing. And I think I'll throw in another name that might people will look at is Rashford. So maybe post 2 more weeks, if Rashford kind of shows something consistently, people will jump onto him game week 8 once there's a fixture swing. So with United, it's pretty simple. Wait for the two more games, see who plays well, how they play, and then decide. Maybe you can ship out um, some of the players who don't turn up well.
And the thing about United is, especially that other wing, right, Rashford and Garnacho. It feels like Diallo is looking more and more. Ahmad is looking more and more, settled as a pick for Ten Hag, and he's still in two minds whether he wants to, go Rashford or whether he wants to go Garnacho. Maybe he's taking game-based decisions a bit more there. So I'm not sure exactly, of those three wingers who are the front for first choices. Maybe it still continues to play out, and your X minutes are a bit funny.
I don't know what is there with United. We don't know what's the best front three. That's the joke now.
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see. Once
With
Rasmus Højlund is back,
yeah,
we'll
with
see.
Holland being back, maybe things will look a bit more settled, and we'll have an idea. What is the price of Rasmus Holland for, by the way?
Rasmus is 6.9.
Interesting, right? Because that third striker, and I don't want to start with him, of course, but say you are someone who started with the Nico Jackson and he's had two good fixtures, and the fixtures are dwindling for Nico, and you want to move out, save some money. Just after 2 weeks, you have Holland going, Brentford at home, West Ham away, Chelsea at home, Leicester home, Ipswich away, Everton home. So not a long term away. Again, I'm not recommending a pick now, but I think 2 weeks is a good time for us to have that slot ready. And if you feel that Holland is a guy who's getting 90 minutes, I think he's a decent striker and he'll get the opportunities. We don't know whether he puts the ball in the net. Maybe God is against United, but if it's not, then you have a chance to get FPL points.
I mean, that was the. I don't know whether really this was the code, but the code from Onana was today our guys did their best, but God did not want the ball to go in the back of the net.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe we need God to play as number 9 and we'll score.
So
But I don't know.
Madison, if
Madison, right?
you saw the Spurs match, right? What's your feeler about Madison?
I was a bit confused seeing how they were managing to play Bentancur, Kulusevski, and Madison in the midfield. I was like, how? Wait a minute, what is going on? But uh, Madison at 7.5, right? I think people will spend the extra bucks and go for Luis Diaz. And I mean, in
Okay.
terms of Spurs, right? Again, I think post the game against United, they have good run of games, and he did score a goal last week. I think we need to see, wait and see on Spurs, and
Yeah.
it's an
It's
important game for them.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think the match against United and Spurs, I think it's a good match for us to do some scouting as a FPL managers and see, who's coming out, who's looking really good. The thing about Madison is generally he's a guy of form, right? That's what we have always seen across seasons. If there's a match that he does well, and then he generally picks it up from there, goes on a run for 6, 7 weeks, and then he gets a small injury, and then he sets back. There's a setback. He'll come back a bit late, and then that form is gone again. You have to wait for that form to come, right? So that's something that we have to see out. Uh, on his own, obviously, when he's on form, he looks really, really good. He's a great potential player. Uh, but fixtures are also a bit tricky. It's not like great fixtures also. Right? So maybe one of those post Diaz, who do I move to? Maybe Madison is the guy. I'll keep an eye, and he's more of a Diaz replacement who's in our pocket, right? A watch list.
Yeah, I see Som in the chat saying that
Brennan or
Brennan
Brennan.
Johnson. Yeah, I mean Brennan is 6.4, but he starts few games, he gets benched. I don't know what's the thing, but with Spurs, we need to see, we need to find out which is their strongest 11. Until that, we don't know what to do with them.
He's
Okay,
a guy who
next.
gets into good positions for sure. That's for sure. Brennan Johnson. It's just that he was not in form. He's now scored in back-to-back matches. Might be, I think, one of the cup matches, and now again here. Good shout out for sure. If you're on a wild card and you're looking at that fourth midfielder, but maybe I'll not go that expensive because I have someone like Semenyo. But Not a bad shot.
Yeah, I mean, because the budget guys who are between 5.5 to 6.5
Mm.
are kind of playing well. Obviously, we have Smith Rowe
Smith
here.
Rowe. Yes.
Fulham, although fixtures are not
Not good.
that good,
Yeah.
so but still, he's someone you can just put it and forget, and you'll get your points. And if he blanks, you can't complain. The same goes. I think the same pretty much goes with everybody on this list. I just put in there Madwiki if still you want to get a Chelsea player at their price point, but I don't think so. If you look at him, I think arguably for the next 2 weeks it is Semenyo because of the fixtures that they have, and Rogers and Smith Rowe are like excellent for their price. I mean, there's nothing to complain more. And I forgot to add McNeil, I think. That's what I just remembered seeing there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one player I missed, who's I think
S-
6.4.
Savio, your possible second City attack, or should we keep that place open for Foden? What would you do?
I don't know. The problem with Pep is like you don't know who's going to play when. I think whenever I've seen Savinho play, he's like he looks like that Mares region, Brazilian Mares, you can call him. He's someone looks good and he has good end product in terms of the deliveries, and whenever he does something, you feel something might happen. But I
Yeah,
don't know with Pep.
100%.
With
100%.
Grealish back, Foden back, we don't know.
Yeah, yeah. So with Foden, I think it's something that we have to see. I don't know why he's still not started. Right, even against Arsenal, I don't think he looked really fit. Maybe fitness is an issue for him. There's something they are, not declaring, niggles, etc. But with Savinho, for sure, whenever he has the ball, he looks like he's going to create something. I think he's looked good. Price is cheap. He seems like a starter for City, but you have the likes of Grealish, etc. You never know when things change. Why go there and block a third spot? I would rather take a defender, take Haaland, and maybe wait it out and see who comes out. Right? Maybe that's the thought currently. Right?
Yeah, I mean this. I forgot to add McNeil, but McNeil again fixtures wise is great,
Super.
and again someone whose Everton's attack is going to rely more on,
Yeah.
obviously for all those dead balls and crosses, and the defense of Calvert-Lewin will end up on one of those. So McNeil is a good shot for 6.4, and last I think we covered more on. Oh wait, I said McNeil is 6.4. I'm sorry, it's 5.4. Why am I saying 6.4? He's in the same bracket as Smith Rowe, Rogers, Semenyo, and that's it. Good pick, good fixtures, and you can't complain. Last but not least, in terms of players who are below 5 and below, are Wings at 4.5, Dibbling at 4.5. I think he looked good, and he scored a goal last week, and against United as well, he did look that good. But I think I heard a couple of Southampton fans also saying that he's pretty much sort of nailed for the time being. So he's not a
Yeah.
bad pick for 4.5. Lastly, we have
He's a
Fabio
starting.
Carvalho from
He's a starting
Brentford.
attacking. Midfielder for sure. You can go there and just. It's just that with those players, right? You would ideally always keep putting them on bench, and there'll be one match where they'll score and you'll curse yourself. That's the only thing.
No, but it's at least better than getting someone like a Wings. When Dickling is more offensive, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
And last, Brentford's new signing, Fabio Carvalho, is priced 4.8, but I'm a bit confused whether he plays or not. That's my concern. But he
Yeah.
looked good in the League Cup game, but last match not that great. But what do you think?
Great player, great potential guy, right? And I think with Brentford attack, they need someone like Carvalho to come back, to come in. I think he'll get his minutes for sure. He's a good player. I don't know, how he connects with the rest of the Brentford. That's all. If you're going there, it's a punt for sure, and you can get really lucky. He's a good player. Having seen whatever little we have seen of him, I think he's a good player.
The problem with them is that they have another player at 5 that I think Kieran Lewis Potter was, if I'm saying
Louis
the wrong
Potter.
name
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah,
Lewis
yeah, Louis
Potter,
Potter.
right? Who's that?
Hmm.
Sorry, Keen Lewis Potter is 5, right? I
Yeah.
don't know who was going to play amongst him. I think what's his pronunciation?
Mm,
Shade or he's also.
Sade. I think
But
Sade will be more of a forward. Louis
but
Potter.
he's a 5 million midfielder. He's not-
Yeah, yeah, exactly right. A lot of people have looked at Sade as well, and if he starts, I think he'll be interesting pick. Given Brentford's fixtures. Right? So again, looking at Brentford, I was thinking, maybe take a defender, maybe take a 4 million defender or a goalkeeper. Right now, you feel like maybe they have good choices coming out. Keep that one spot extra just to see out because they do have a good run of fixtures.
Yeah, I've accidentally put Kevin. Uh, I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm going to wrongly pronounce his name. Kevin Shade or Shad, whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry, but I put him accidentally in forwards. The next slide, so don't get confused. He's a midfielder at five. Uh, Now we've said that.
Somnath added a very good point in the comment saying, KDB is just a week out. So don't forget, he can be back and it's just a headache, which makes sense. We keep forgetting
Yeah,
that.
that's the
At one point of time,
KDB.
I was thinking game week 6, when I do wildcard, I'll definitely get KDB in such a great differential. But by the time that week comes, he gets injured because he's just not been a consistent player for City for a couple of seasons. He has a lot of injuries.
I think it is just Mr. Robot from City. We'll go on to the forwards now.
Yeah,
Apart from Mr. Robot, there is no one, right? From City. I mean, to be honest,
yeah.
he's the only one, we can just
He's
forget.
the only he's the only forward they have.
Yeah. Alvarez leaving helped us a lot in that. Anyways, Haaland, I'm not going to talk. Just having, that's it. Next, we have Watkins and Havertz. And how you structure your team is more important here. Whether you play a five midfield or you play a three forward, that depends on how many premium forwards and mid priced you go, or you go with two mid priced, one premium, and then better midfield, right? But Watkins finally starting to look good again. Little bit of slow start, but he's caught up, and they play Ipswich, right? This is the week, right? Watkins could go big. That's the thing.
Yeah, I think with Watkins, we are only looking at his fitness levels, right? We know we have just come back from last season. We know what Watkins can do. He is a top player. There are just two variables which has come in. One is his fitness. He used to be a great fit player, but he didn't start this season. He came in late, and things rolled up a bit for him late. But now we are seeing him playing close to 90 minutes again. So more or less that fitness seems to be back. It's just that they have Champions League fixtures as well, a bit more factors, and you have someone like Duran coming in off the bench and scoring always, right? So that flexibility is there. Emery knows that he can give Watkins a bit more rest, but serious contender for that second slot. Obviously, if you have Watkins, basically is a second forward, and he's someone who, if you get, you kind of just see out for as many weeks as possible because he's a guy who can give you goals in any match possible.
Yeah. That's done and Havertz, right? I think we don't have a lot to talk on Havertz, and you've seen so far that Saka and Havertz both have looked excellent for Arsenal. And if you're wildcarding now, obviously getting in Havertz is probably the one of the best ways to attack the Arsenal fixtures that they have over the next 3 weeks, and the best time probably to get Havertz as well, right? Nothing more to say here.
Yeah, yeah. He's the only variable again was whether he'll play as a midfielder, whether Arteta will pull him back to midfield, start Jesus, but it doesn't seem like Arteta is doing that. He's playing Trossard. He's more comfortable playing Kai up front. So if Kai continues to play as a number 9, I feel he's a great pick, especially when the fixtures. Nothing much to add on top of that.
Now we'll go to mid-priced. I think all the players below 8 are here. And
Hmm.
I've put accidentally Shed or Shed there, so please ignore him right away from there. He's of midfield at 5. Last year he was priced as a forward, I think, position. Okay, Joe Pedro is out, is what we got earlier, I think.
Yeah.
Don't know when he will be back, is what Brighton's manager said. So he's gone well back. So is the lucky guy who keeps his place as a player to consider. But in terms of fixtures, what we have, right? The other guys look that enticing, right? Obviously, Nico Jackson, we have Wood, Calvert Lewin, and Solanke and Vardy, right? I mean, these are all players from different price brackets,
Yeah.
and based on the structure and the amount of funds you have, right?
Yes, yes. I think Jackson looks obviously cream pick here today, primarily because of the fact that Chelsea have looked really good. We have looked at the odds as well for the next 2, 3 weeks. I think 3 out of 4 weeks, their odds of scoring look really good. And the way Mariska was all praises about him, he looks like he's confident. Wood looks like he continues chipping in with those, odd goals. So he's a guy who can score in any of the matches. So he's your typical third forward. Ideally, in FPL, you go for someone like Wood, who is cheaper, 6.2 million is guy. Unlike Jackson, who will take that 1 million extra from your budget, right? Wardy, I played that punt last week, didn't work. With Wardy, you never know. He can score against Arsenal as well. He loves scoring against Arsenal as well, to be honest. Right. So, but Solanke and Jackson, I feel, are good, solid third forward vibes, even second forward. To be honest, if you have gone heavy on the defense, right, you can balance it out with a Jackson and a Solanke, who will give you good goals. And but it's just that you have to be a bit more patient. They might be dependent on the fixtures, but they're playing for good attacking teams, which means they're going to get opportunities even in not so great fixtures.
Yeah, I mean, as the thing that I would like to say here is that these are all good players to consider because they're all good at the price points they are at the moment. So based
Yeah.
on the team structure and the funds you have, you can pick any of
Yes.
these players and they'll do the job. Right? Welbeck
Yes.
also is still not a bad option. And
Correct.
although he is 5.8, but he's someone who's looked good so far this season. So it's not a
Yes.
bad option, but you can go Vardy as well at 5.7, who's not bad. You can bump up more and go to Calvert Lewin or Wood. You can bump up more and go to Jackson and Solanke. So that's up to that based on what you have. And few things I wanted to just quickly inform. I just looked at possible price rises. I know that a lot of people wildcarded or wildcards activated, so I don't know whether this will actually go in effect or not.
Yeah.
So the players that are at the moment looking to go up by tomorrow early morning is Saka, Wood, Semenyo, Diaz, Mbomo, and Greaves. These all players are the ones who will go up in price based on the price predictor. And in terms of the drop, we have Salah, Pedro Porro, Lewis Hall, Adam Armstrong, and a couple of other players who are on the drop zone. I have a lot of players on the drop zone and a lot of players I want to get in are the ones going to go up.
Push
So
that card, push that button.
push the button. Before we go to that, we'll just answer this one question that we got.
Yes. Yes.
Um, I have Rogers, Semenyo, Saka, Mbembo, Luis Diaz, Calvert-Lewin, Haaland, and Chris Wood. I have to bench one of them this week. Who would you bench? I'm considering Calvert-Lewin or Rogers.
Ideally, I feel Rogers is the guy that we bench. I know he gave us 2 assists, but for me, ideally he's the guy, right? I am the reason I say that is uh, with Villa, with John Duran being a factor, right? It's possible that one of these weeks he'll come in and play for them. He come in and gets start for them, and if that happens, which is the player who's going to lose his slot, I feel ideally Rogers looks like the guy who's going to lose his slot, right? But it's Ipswich away. I know it's a promoted squad, right? That's why there's a feeling that there'll be a lot of goals, etc. But Ipswich have looked solid, to be honest, and it's their home. They have looked really good at home as well, right? If you remember the first match against Liverpool, they're actually pulling them up for the first 45 odd minutes. They just lost a bit of steam in the second half. So I don't think Villa away to Ipswich is a great high ceiling match, at least, especially for Rogers. I would rather play the striker. I know DCL does not inspire a lot of confidence nowadays, but at the same time, if you look at the matches and if you look at the fact that he's a striker, why not take a punt?
I mean, what I would say is that there is no right or wrong answer here, right? You don't know who's going to score and who's going to blank. Just go with the one who you feel. There's no right wrong answer. If it works, it works. If you bench and the player returns, that's how the game works, and we will move on. I mean, both the
But
fixtures look.
Palace have looked like they are going to concede chances. So there's a higher probability that DCL is going to get those chances. It's just a matter of whether he picks
I
or
mean,
not.
the same way you could say Rogers also. I mean, Villa also have looked good, and Rogers has looked good so far this season. And even he could end up doing maybe one assist
Rogers
also.
has not
You
looked
don't know.
good. Rogers has looked so
Yeah,
irritating to me because the only match he looked good was actually Arsenal, right, where he actually created chances, and of course the last match. But other than that, he's not been really involved in attacks so far. Right, he's not the guy who actually gets into the end point. He's not the guy who you feel will look to score.
he's more of the last pass that will result in a goal. I
Yeah,
mean, if you got what I said, but that's still not bad. You'll get us his points. I mean, as we said, no right wrong answer. Uh, Nobody can predict that. And with that, I think we're done. Let's go to your draft, Sankalp's team. Quickly, you can walk us through your team. Let
yeah.
me
It's
just
still
that.
not settled, obviously. Uh,
Wait a second. Yeah.
yeah. Still not settled. There are some certain picks, some picks that I'm still playing around with. For example, Nico, Kai, Haaland feel a bit more certain for me. Saka, Diaz, Mbomo, I'm more or less certain. Smithrow, McNeil, I'm still debating Semenyo and McNeil. Smithrow, I don't want to sell him now. I think you've got some price rises as well. So that makes me feel a bit more comfortable around them. Defense is where I'm still playing around. I've got double Ipswich defense, 4 million guys. I'm just going to play with three-man defense, and I know the 4 million guy comes in because I'm looking at Ipswich defense and I feel comfortable. Looking at them, I feel like they're decent defense. If they come in, also it's a two-pointer off the bench, which I'm okay. All right. Gabriel is for me a fixed choice for sure. I want another 6 million guy. It's just I'm debating whether I do Guardiola or keep it on Robertson, especially this match. And rather than going Guardiola, I pick out Robinson for a Rico Lewis. Right. So it's between those two picks for me. Where do I put in a City defender? I want to put Arsenal, Liverpool, and City defender because I think they are just the top three defense. And if I pick the top three, I pick starting players from those teams. Ideally, there's a good chance that I'm going to get at least one clean sheet most of these weeks going forward. That is the idea. I'll definitely get a City defender for sure. Where do I get it is something I'm still debating. It's either Guardiola coming in for Robertson or Rico Lewis. With Rico Lewis, it's just that there's 1 or 2 weeks where you get screwed. Somnath is saying it's Trent or bust. I don't agree. I mean, yeah, Trent has looked great last week, but over 4 5 weeks, I think Robertson has looked great as well. It's just that he doesn't have that, one goal or one assist. If he has one goal, and there were weeks where there were chances coming to him. If he has that one goal, we might, change the entire story as well. So I'm comfortable not going Trent because I don't have the money, to be honest. I want to go Haaland, Kai, Saka, Mbumo, Diaz. With that, you have to make your sacrifices somewhere. So I'm comfortable making my sacrifice there. Goalkeeper, I'm more or less, I think, settling down on cells, primarily because of the Brentford. Uh, you know, there's a lot of news about Brentford still settling down as a team. I know that they are going to eventually settle down, and eventually Flecken might be the better option. But Forest has good vibes to me. It has good old, Nuno vibes. So anyone who's been playing the game for 4 5 seasons will remember Nuno Wolves and their defense. So it's more of that pick.
I mean, I don't have anything to complain on this draft. It's more or less typically having the picks that people are discussing. I think the only odd off one I see is Robinson.
Yeah,
Is
I'm
the
going to
only
take him
probably
out for
one.
sure.
Yeah, that's the only one. Other than that, I agree. It's based on whatever funds you have, you're able to do this. Only, I mean, Robinson and Smith Rowe is probably the two
Captain.
players that I are not like in most of the drafts, or maybe Robinson with Smith Rowe is still okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the
They're
one.
more or less, it will be Robinson for Rico Lewis. I have 0.2 million in the bank, so I think I'll be able to fund that move.
Okay, next we'll go to Som's bus team, and then last we'll go at my dilemma. And this is Som's bus team, and he actually I think made one transfer, right? What was the one move? I think he did spin through to Semenyo, and he's not wildcarding. That's the only update. Is Som is not wildcarding, and he said that he might take a hit.
Yeah, he's still
The
thinking about it. But the team looks good. He has Isaac still. Is Isaac fit again?
Isaac, I need to just quickly check that. Yeah, I mean, let me just see
He
here.
had two injury,
He's
right?
fine.
So it was not a big injury. Removing Isaac and Jota is what Somnath is saying. So he's taking hits for sure. Maybe he had. Did you have extra transfer saved?
No, he
Because
said he said hit. So I think what he
yeah,
will do is he
minus
probably
four.
somehow maybe get in Havertz or someone instead of Saka. Maybe I don't know. If you can't go
Isaac
Saka, I
and
think
Jota.
Havertz is.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
Isaac Jota out for Saka. I think that would become too much, right? I don't know how the match would work then.
Two free transfers and one hit. So for minus four, he's doing a bit of a rejig, which makes sense. He's saved his chip free transfers well, right? So looks good, right? He has Trent, he has Lewis, so he has two of my top three defenders. It's just that instead of Gabriel, he still has Poro. He's a bit stuck for him. Diogo Jota might start. I think he might. Looking at the way they played and the fact that Jota was subbed off at 59 minutes after scoring two goals. Somnath, you might regret it. Jota scores starts against Wolves and prime time fixture.
These are all ifs and buts, right? They will not give
Yeah.
you points. You don't know. Okay, he's asking Saka plus DCL or Havertz plus Pumo.
Ah, what do you think?
Ah, the problem is Saka is the best option and Bumo is the best option. Both DCL Havertz, I'm not sure, right? As
The
primary
combination?
attacker.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the combination is it's a choice between either losing Jota or Mo. I'm sticking with Mo. I mean, fair enough. No complaints. If with that option, I would go Saka plus DCL.
I would do the reverse. I would go Kai plus Mbumo because I think both are good picks. With DCL, it's a bit more question mark, right? With Kai and Mbumo, I'm comfortable with them as picks as starters as well. It's just that with Salah, he always has the money to fund that Saka move at any point of time. If he's wrong only for a week, and next week he does that Salah to Saka, and that's all.
Yeah, that also will work, but 1 week, right?
One.
Anyways, if Salah goes well, that's going to compensate at the end of the day. And I think that's done. Let's now look at my problem. Now, I have a problem here that I am. This is my bus team at the moment.
Yep.
Okay, so I did Bruno to Bumo here, and the only concerns that I have with my team is I don't have an Arsenal player, and I have Armstrong, Hall, and Howard Willis. Three players who I just want to get rid of at this point. And what do
Do you
you
have
think?
any free transfers?
No, I used one for Bruno to Bumo. That's the
All
only
right.
one I did.
That's the you had only one free transfer, right?
Yeah, I only had one.
How happy are you with the current team?
My problem is my bench. My bench is awful. Armstrong, Hall, and Howard Willis all probably will drop in price, and all probably have lost their place as well. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Somnath is asking how much money you have in the bank. You don't have much money, right?
I have uh, I have 2.1.
Oh, you have good money in the bank. So you can always upgrade one of your bench choices, right? So on philosophical, if you ask me, bench is not a reason you go for a wildcard for sure, right? Filling the bench is not a reason you wildcard. If you are comfortable with this with the team overall and you have Salah, you have Mbumo, you have Eze. Theoretically, you should be happy with Eze, and you have Haaland and Solanke, right? Saliba and Konsa, you should be happy. Everton, Henderson, okays, Michaelenko, okays, right? So you have, if you have money, you just upgrade couple of places, and then I think you're good to go.
But the problem is I don't have any Arsenal attacker, right? I have to take hits to get.
If you have 2.1 million in the bank, you can always do a Solanke to Kai if you want.
But again, it's not making a lot of sense for me. That's the problem.
As fixtures are there, right? You said you want an Arsenal attacker.
But I'm going to take a hit.
It's just a hit -4, right? Because see, you are not going to get an Arsenal attacker for just this week. You are getting for the next 3 4 weeks, right? It's a midterm play.
If you have money, then can upgrade and punt on Trossard Martinelli for Smithrow. Uh,
Uh, I would rather get one of Kai or Saka. It's as simple as that.
I
With
am
Arsenal
not
attack.
even I'm not even remotely convinced out of those two players. I'm sorry. It's
Because we still don't know their positions. Trossard, I think we know now for a few weeks at least, till international break, because it's only after that we have our transfer signing coming in. We got a guy playing to supposed to play as the left midfielder, and then things might switch. But till that point, maybe Trossard is your Odegaard position, and Martinelli is a left winger. But it's too punty. I mean, Smith Rowe has similar potential because he takes similar, he gets into similar opportunities. He's scoring, he's giving you assists as well. Why sell him? Unless it's for someone less punty.
I'm still on like 65% wildcard and 35% kind of
What's the theory not to
this.
wildcard?
There is no the only theory not to wildcard. The only problem I have with this team is not having a reliable Arsenal attacker. Probably in my definition, it's only Saka.
That you
Uh,
can get if you said Salah. Salah to Saka, easy
Salah.
move.
But then I will. Everyone will have Diaz or Liverpool cover and attack. I don't have a Liverpool defense as well. If you see, like a lot of other.
But
I
that's
mean,
not
if
a
you have
high
to pinpoint,
ceiling. That's not a high ceiling thing, right? It's just this week. This week again, Wolves do score, right? So it's not like Liverpool will get a clean, high clean chance. I think the Wolves at home generally will score, right? So it's not a high ceiling miss. Over long term, you can always get it. You have money in the bank, so that also you can do. But
let's probably
it's just
look
that the
at the other
only
side.
issue for me is I think you have ranks to cover, right? So it's not like you are on a top 100K rank and things are looking really good. Overall, I think you have ranks to cover. So you need to attack and try and cover that rank as soon as possible, right? Over the next 5 or 6 weeks, because game week 10 onwards, there's those, gaps start increasing and it becomes more and more difficult to cover ranks, right? So
That's the reason. The other problem I have is all the bench players. If they drop, right, I'm going to just lose point 3, point 4 out, and
correct.
it will
That's
be
also,
very difficult. That's
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 also,
the other few things. Now let's look at on the flip side. If I were to wildcard, right,
yeah.
I'm
What's your
asking.
bus wildcard draft?
Now the most. Let me change the
Somnath
name.
says ESR has Man City next. That is true. We can bench him for 1 week, but he doesn't have any bench option. That's also true.
Yeah, this is the thing. If I were to wildcard,
Hmm.
I've kept. I have 36.6, and we need to fill 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots. Fill in the blanks is what I've kept.
Hmm.
I think
So
probably a
you
Liverpool defender
you
is
are
going to go
keeping
straight down.
Michaelenko, no point selling him. Greaves you are getting. Saliba you are keeping. But if you're a wildcard, I think you would ideally go Gabriel,
Yeah,
right?
he's just like I just.
Yes, yes. Why are you keeping Rogers at 5.1, in your wildcard draft? Their fixtures are turning, right?
Lot of things are there, right? I think it's one of Rogers or Semenyo is what I'm looking at.
Semenyo is good for the next 2 weeks at least. He has solid potential. He is much better than Rogers. Gets into good position, has the ability to score. Higher potential move for sure. But the fixtures are no longer there. Right? The reason we started with Rogers is he had fixtures and we hoped he will do something. He didn't do great. Last week he did something. He got his 2 assists. But on a wild card, you dump him, right?
Dumping, but for five, right? If see one thing which I want to make clear is my team value was very bad. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
if I go and just transfer out everybody, as I said before, I think I would have had barely. Let me do that quickly. If I ship out everyone, my team value is pretty much battered at this point.
You can see
That's
it in FPL website actually. They show
so
you team value. Pick team. If you click on pick team and go
90,
down,
99.1.
amazing. How did you reach that low, man? I'm at 100.9 and I don't. I think I have a lot of similar plays.
I lost. I told you no. I lost on Southampton. I mean,
Hmm.
Armstrong, Bruno, Mikolenko,
Bruno,
Kwanzaa.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I lost a
Okay.
lot. So that's like one of the things that is forcing me to probably get in place and
Go
attack
live
players.
on the website. Let's try it out. Let's see, if you pick and remove players rather than doing this. Let's go on a dynamic website and see how things are shaping for you.
Okay. I don't know whether. Let's see whether we are going to get something which is going to allow me to do that.
Yeah, you can share your screen, right?
Yeah, I know, but I
Hmm.
don't share a particular window. I guess let me just try whether that works. Uh,
Move the tab to one page. Yeah, yep, we are there. We are there, right?
okay, last segment is building a live team with a
Building
very
live
average
wildcard team. Yes.
live wildcard team
Let's
with
go.
bad average.
99.1 million and we build a live wildcard team. Let's go.
Okay, goalkeeper. I think we'll just
Hmm.
put the bench guys quickly. We'll put Fabianski. We'll put Graves. I mean, these guys are going
Okay.
to be there.
We'll do the
Now
reverse,
goalie.
man. Start with starters, right? Where do you want to go? 4.5 million goalkeeper because you have 99 million. You cannot go more expensive.
See, I mean, Haaland is nailed. Pumo
Okay.
is nailed. Okay,
Correct.
good thing goes
Correct.
on there, right?
Yes.
These
Yes.
two, and obviously I have to go without Salah, so Diaz will come in,
Correct.
and I'm going for Saka.
Let's start with that. Yes.
Okay, that's done, and maybe we'll go for Gabriel. These are
Yes.
all pretty much you nailed, and Liverpool I have, so I'm just going to
Mm,
think that towards the end.
let's put Konate for the timing, right? Because you don't have money. You're going with cheap players, right? Okay. We will have one city guy. So
Uh,
Lewis.
no, I'm not going for a City defense.
Okay. See.
That's the thing.
So Flecken.
Let's see. We need to see a
Yes.
Flecken, and I'm just going to, for namesake, put a 4.5, and we'll keep the last spot empty.
Who is this for Milkovic? Which team does he play for?
Is from Forest.
Forest, right? First, okay. Forest do have defense. I think decent defense. So, go for that. And what is the plan? Three defenders, double 4 million, or do you want to have another 4.5 million guy?
I mean, the double four, I'll go for another 4.5.
Hmm.
So, who was in my team before? I don't even remember the
Michael
name.
Lenko was there, yeah. Or
Yeah, again,
Robinson was
I
there.
that's what I think it is morely based on the money I will have remaining. I need to decide on those things. Maybe one, two, and three. These three spots are based on how much I have.
Keep trying, right? We will see where you end up, right? That's the
Okay,
wild
I
card.
think I will. If I'm going to attack, I cannot go without Havertz. I have
Perfect.
to attack the 3 weeks for Arsenal, and we
Perfect.
have four for 22.7. That's amount close to maybe five and a half is what you can
Yes.
go for each
So
position.
basically, you have to go for one midfielder 4.5 now. Just fill it up, dribbling.
Let's put Tippling for now.
Yeah.
I have
Now you
18.
have 18.2, right? Which means you do have some money for a midfielder, Semenyo,
Okay, let's put it there for now 5.6,
5.6,
and we
right?
have 12.6.
12.6. Do you want to have a third striker or a bigger defender? That's the question, right?
Yeah, I mean, let's Tippling is weak, right? So one, two, three, four. So you need to have someone who,
Third striker, right?
yeah, maybe one of Wood or Calvert Lewin is.
I think you have enough money to go for Solanke because you love Solanke.
Okay, let's see. Solanke, and
How much money you have
I
left,
have five. I have
right?
five.
You still have 5 million in the bank.
Let's go for a 4.5, and let's see who's that. For now, let's just say Martinez. I mean, just for now,
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
it's just putting as a 4.5. We have point 0.6 left.
Point 6 left. You can upgrade Dibbling back to your Morgan Rogers
Yeah,
if you
if
are
you could.
stuck on Rogers, right? But any other place where you would want to, upgrade instead of Rogers, if you well see you have three strikers, right? With Solanka and Kai, why are you playing Rogers? You are never going to play him,
Yeah,
right?
I
So
don't think I need someone that much here, right?
then
I mean,
where
if
will you put that money?
let's try, right? Let's
Hmm.
for one who's close. I mean, let's say who's the third? Let's say Vardy because he's the cheapest third forward. I mean, if you want to go,
Good third forward, yeah. How much money you have
I
left?
have 6.9 that will get me as a if I do that.
But then you are going back to your old team, more or less, right?
I'm just looking at the price points here. 6.9, right? How
Ah,
many players do we have? I'm gonna make it 7.3 and let's see, right? It just keeps on getting reset. Okay. Funny game. We don't have a lot of.
so rather than doing this, I think Solanke makes more sense, right? He seems, for example, let's say a 7.5 million striker looks much solid as an option rather than going for a point 0.5 million extra forward and the midfield defense, right? So if you're not going Rogers, you still have point 0.6 million. Do you have any other defensive choice you want to upgrade?
I mean, where would I do? I mean, Rico Lewis is the only punt. If I want to maybe shell out a little bit more, I could go.
3
But other
million
than that,
and
I
keep.
don't see.
Yeah, and that's a decent punt, right? Rather than going Milkovich, you have one high ceiling choice. Say Rico Lewis is benched, he doesn't come off the bench often. You have Martinez, Gabriel Konate, Martinez, Greaves, right?
I mean, this is what bad team value will cost. I lost a lot. That's the thing. That's the
Make
problem.
make make those two changes and see how it looks now.
Okay, let's get him out and let's put Rico Lewis. Okay, I think it's on midfield. And let's put Tibbling.
Right? You still have some money in the bank, and that's okay. Now, this team, you just need to compare it with your existing team and how happy you are with this team.
I mean, I had the plus points is Arsenal attack, right?
Yeah.
That's the big thing, right? We are running after Arsenal.
Embumo is a plus point for you as well, right?
I had Mbomo before wildcard. I just got him in, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
that's
you
the
had
main.
you had just got Embumo. Oh, yeah. So basically, you get Saka Kai in as an extra player. You get Semenyo in instead of your Villa player, right? Uh, you have Somnath is saying Saka, Bruno, Rogers, Ajay, Mbuma, Hallard, Wood, Pedro. Is this your ex team he's writing?
I did not have Pedro.
Ah, okay.
I mean, if you want to quickly
Understood.
compare with my
Yeah,
previous team,
correct.
this is what I had. So I did get in Solanke
I
last
think we'll
week.
have to change your screen.
It didn't show. Okay, 1 second now.
Ah, yes. So basically, you dropped Hall, you moved Saliba to Gabriel sort of thing. You dropped Bruno to Mbumo, which you would have anyways done, but you dropped. You moved out of Eze Salah to a Saka and where is the extra and Diaz, right? And you dropped out of a Smith Rowe to a Semenyo. It's just that Haaland Solanke you were happy with, and you have added a Kai Havertz. Does that make sense? And you dropped Henderson. You basically moved out of balanced defense, which anyways I think most of us wanted to do.
Yeah,
Somnath has created a team parallelly for you. He's again gone for Bruno, which I don't know whether you want to do, but Saka, Bruno, Rogers, Eze, and Mbumo. I think that is more or less where your team was. You will, if this is the team, you will not do
if I
wildcard,
go
right?
if I go to the team which I would pick
Ah,
without wildcard, this is what you have. There's no Bruno.
Exactly.
Obviously, I ship Bruno for Bumo
And
because
Momo, yeah, yeah. It's more or less similar team. Why you won't do it for a wild card?
yeah, the pure reason I would do is attack Arsenal. That's the only thing I would go. If I were wildcarding, obviously that's the main sort
I
of
think
reason.
there are two reasons. One is, you see a immediate upgrade of going from one team to one from this team to that new team, or you see, you don't see any other place where you can use a wild card, right? Because again, wild card comes with fixtures, swings, etc. I think the next one is around game week 12. The problem for you is, and I think something that you rightly identified, if you keep losing value, right? By the time you wildcard in game week 12, this will be
I
worse.
won't be able to afford most of the players. I won't be able to
So
afford
yeah, yeah. So it
most of
just
them.
makes sense for you to wildcard today. That feels now a better move because you will be able to make some of these better moves, and then depending on because you are picking some of these high momentum players, which a lot of people are. With price rises, you will also have better capacity to pick up other players.
All right. This was, I think, pretty interesting. Even I am going to basically, yeah, for me, the main reason was we're going to stop this and
Yeah,
we're going to just go back here. The
yeah.
main for me was purely to not lose value and getting the players who will go
Mm. This is
in
interesting.
my
This is
opinion.
classically not a reason to wildcard. Generally,
But I
that's
am
what I
forced
would
to.
have.
I'm forced to. I've come to
But you
a
have reached a point where,
unfortunate.
yeah, 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 true.
So because I read, right, I mean, as per FPL statistics, I don't know whether it might happen or not because so many managers have, pressed the wildcard button. We don't know whether it might happen or not.
Yeah,
Saka, Semenyo, Diaz, and Greaves might go up. There's already four players who might go up.
yeah,
Might.
and
Not sure.
ideally, not all four will go up, but I think two might,
Maybe
right?
two
So,
might
yeah,
go up. You don't know. And
generally,
then
point two
if
is
I
a
see the
decent.
Yeah, and then if I see two, then it says Salah. I have Salah, Luis Ong, and Adam Armstrong, three players who might go down,
Yeah. I think Adam Armstrong feels like a drop for sure, right?
and
I don't
Luis
think,
Hall,
yeah, Luis Hall
and
as
Luis
well,
Hall.
right? Yeah,
So
yeah.
so gone. They're only just because of
Primarily, Hall to Rico Lewis, there'll be a lot of people who, especially non-wildcarders, will definitely do it, right? Easy pick, right? Similarly,
Armstrong
Armstrong,
to Calvert-Lewin or something like that.
yeah,
They might
DCL,
do.
etc. Right? So, yeah, so it is a point 0.5, point 0.6 million highest ceiling switch, more a loss for you, or a 0.41. But my point is basically you understand that the more you stick with this team, the more you're losing value. And whenever you ideally wildcard, you are just left with very little thing to do, right? Uh,
Song is saying just take a hit and do Luis Hall to Gabriel.
where do you get that money? How to
I
Gabriel?
have to, yeah,
Oh, you
Hall
have
to
2 million.
Gabriel.
Yeah, you have 2 million in the bank. Yeah, yeah. It doesn't solve it. It delays it. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, Som is on the non-wild card. He's the cheer for the non-wild card guys. I mean, so it's good to have someone also, setting a
Giving that
different
other view.
thought process.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, different view. That's important.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, I unfortunately don't have good team value. If I had decent, if I had close to 100ish, I would be like, it's okay, fine. We can delay it maybe 2 3 weeks and see. But I lost a lot,
Yeah, but
and
even now, if you
that's
look at it, even if you look at it today, and if we are going for a decent enough wildcard team, I mean, I'm looking at a wildcard team. I don't think it's a bad wildcard team, and you still have 0.4 million in the bank, right? So even if you do this wildcard exercise again next week, I think you can get a similar team. It's just that how excited you are with the wildcard drafts that you make. I think that generally for me is the biggest thing.
But
Do
then
you
the
have
the,
some?
the,
Uh,
the
hmm.
only thing is if I do it next week, the prices may go up and down, so that might force me to go for a double 4.0 difference and
Yeah.
fix few
So
things here and there.
whatever you do, I think Saturday night you have to again sit down, or Sunday night you have to again sit down and decide. You don't do your wild card on Thursdays generally, right?
But this is
So
not. I have already been. keeping drafts but not press the button. I've been doing
Yeah,
different options and see.
and you have been dropping points or losing points somewhere, right? So that's the thing. So you have to take a decision, and ideally, if you're doing it next week, I would say do it this week. I mean, most of the players you will get is similar in nature, right? So why not just make that now and stop losing points?
I mean, interesting. I think interesting thoughts, and I think we're going to wind it up. We've
Yes.
gone for close to 2 hours of stream. I
Yeah.
think the last segment was a bit of a spin-off we had to do. That will also kind of help the managers also in deciding and getting the picks based on the team value they have. If you have a bad team value and you're with me in the same boat, then hopefully that helps you. Or
Yeah.
and with that, I think we're done. I will think on this, but if I'm going to wildcard, I will press the button and go off to bed,
Yep.
and I can't drag it more. That's pretty much mostly 80%, and 90%. I will do that. I'm not going to drive it now. It's just that I wanted to have this exercise on stream. That's the reason I didn't press the button and come with a draft. And to make it at least a bit more interactive and to get people involved, I did it, but not exactly. But yeah, that's with that. I think we're done. Sankalp, any closing words?
No, I think it's a good overall right time. I feel it's a good time general to wildcard primarily because we have got a lot of information now about teams, right? I think we know now where teams stand, not City, Liverpool, Arsenal, but primarily teams like even Chelsea, United. I think we have a better view of those teams. We have a better view of teams like Villa, Fulham, the other teams, Newcastle, we now know they are not as solid at the back. They are not great in attack as well. Right? So a lot of information has come in. So generally, I feel it's a good time for people to do a wildcard. But my general philosophy or something that I always keep telling people is when you go for wildcard, don't go for a pure template team. Always keep one or two differences which you want to use to attack, right? Think of a Nico Jackson, think of a Palmer, think of a Semenyo. Palmer is sorry, popular. Think of a Nico Jackson, think of a Semenyo, think of a
Solanke.
Solanke, right? These are all good players. Madison, right? So I think have one or two of these guys who can help you attack the upswing. For me, wildcard is all about gaining ranks. That's why we do it. We want to rejig and attack and gain go for higher ranks faster ups in the ORs. And if you want to do that, you will need to go a differential a bit. Don't do uh, complete differential or complete template. Find that balance and also, if you're making, and if you're like Aditya, if you're still 50-50 about it, look at your team and see if it makes you happy. I think that's also a very important factor. I've done that before where I've gone for wildcat team, which doesn't make me happy. And it's a terrible feeling. You every week you'll be like, hey, should I take hits and just move to some players which will make me happy? So make a draft which genuinely makes you want to watch football for those players, right? So that should also be a small factor at least.
A lot of important things, Sankalp, as you said, and I'm not going to speak more on that. I think with that we're done for this episode.
Yeah.
Those who joined us in the chat, those who watched us on this YouTube live stream. Thanks for joining. We'll be back next week, game week what 7. Once 6 is done, we'll look at whether wildcard worked or not for Sankalp, whether I actually end up going with wildcard or not. We'll see.
It's
And we'll
like a
look at
thriller.
game week 7 and ahead. Week 7 ahead. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video amongst your friends and your fellow FPL managers. Okay, wildcard 6 teams do well, and we'll see you all next week. Till then, take care and have a good weekend. Bye.